Hello everyone and welcome back to Commander in General. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. So we all know the first set coming out this year is Aetherdrift, and before a new set comes out, Mark Rosewaters always likes to put out these little teasers on his Blogatog blog on Tumblr. They're usually just some vague stuff about like creature types and text that might be on cards and stuff we might see in the set. So I thought we could go through and speculate as just something fun, and then everybody down in the comments can let me know what they think is going to be in this set. But before we get cruising through these, if you could take a quick scroll down at breakneck speeds and quickly hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, that would be awesome. So remember, Mark always gives us partial information for these, which I think is great. It allows you to really speculate on things and come up with your own ideas for what might be in the set before it actually gets revealed. So firstly, he says some things that we can expect. A 13/13 vehicle with crew 2 that only cost 1 mana. So obviously these are some pushed stats. It's probably going to have some downside on it, I'm thinking. Did see someone on Reddit said that maybe it's going to have something akin to like Phyrexian Dreadnought, which I could totally see something like that. In the past, I haven't really loved vehicles that much, but I feel like they've slowly been getting better, like with like Aetherwing, Golden Scale Flagship, Bessie, the Doctor's Roadster, Essica's Chariot was pretty cool, Shorokai, Genesis Engine that's a pretty cool deck. Like makes pilots and then you can crew with those. I like that one. And then of course the whole Mech Titan core thing that turns into like a Megazord. That was pretty cool. And we'll be looking at something about that a little bit later. But I'm hoping they have some stuff in this set to really sway me. I've just found that vehicles for the most part don't do anything on their own, right? Because you need to crew them, which I know is kind of the point, but sometimes it can feel like kind of a dead card in your hand if you don't already have some stuff out to crew it. But yeah. Next up, a mechanic called So my guess for this is it's going to be some sort of free crewing mechanic maybe, which kind of goes with what I was just saying. Like, I think we need more ways to crew things that doesn't feel like we just have to tap down all of our blockers just so that we can attack. So if that is what this is, that's cool. Maybe it could also be, it's like a start of the race mechanic. So maybe it's like you're competing to see who's getting that first go, kind of like at the beginning of Mario Kart. Next, it says 3 planeswalkers native to one of the worlds visited, and 1 non-native gets desparked legendary creature version. So I feel like we've already seen, like if you're paying attention to spoilers, I feel like we've seen all of the planeswalkers so far, because we know Saheeli is there, because she's going to be on one of the precons, and then we know Chandra's there, because she's been on the art. I'm pretty sure we've seen spoilers of Nissa, and I think that's why Chandra's there in the first place. And then we also got spoiled with that Ready card. So I feel like if those are the 4 that are being mentioned here, then I think they're all revealed. It would be cool to get like Tezzeret here, or like Angrath or Sarkhan, especially with like the Tarkir set coming up. Tezzeret always has to do with machines, but I know he's sort of like a big bad right now, so they probably won't mention him here. And then Angrath, I'm thinking, it feels like there's a little bit of Ixalan stuff going on in this set, but I don't think that they've mentioned that there's any Ixalan stuff going on here, but we'll get to that in a bit. There's supposed to be a cycle of vanilla legendary creatures, so I mean there's only so many permutations that you could do of this, but it is an interesting idea. Like, I know that we have that white dog I can't think of right now. That one is legendary. And then there's Yargle and Multani. So there's a few already. I do know that Murganda has had references to being a plane that cares about creatures with no abilities, indicated by the card Murganda Petroglyphs from Future Sight, so quite a long time ago. And that buffs creatures with no abilities. So, I mean, I don't really have much to say, but it'll be cool to see what they do there. I'm guessing probably some cool flavor text there, some cat and dog mounts. So I know we have Saddle coming back, which makes sense. I know that some of the racers are racing with like mounts, so they're like riding like dragons and I guess now cats and dogs and stuff. But more cats and dogs is fun. Ren and Siri players, keep watch. An old god returns and new gods are introduced. So this is, I guess, Amonkhet here. I'm thinking Hazoret makes the most sense because of like the whole like red speed racing thing. So I could see that. There's also art of the Scarab god in this set as well. So I wonder about that, but I'm pretty sure that some of those died on Amonkhet. I'm not super into the lore, but I feel like some of them might have died. And then some new gods from that set. That makes sense. I guess they got to replace them. I don't know where these gods are born, but hey, they're going to be here. A new Lotus. Okay, I bet you I have this one. I think it's gonna be a Lotus car because forever online there's been circulating that black Lotus vehicle because yeah, Lotus is a kind of car and then you can obviously get it in a black color and then the license plate was just, I think it was just black that it said. So yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a Lotus car. A cycle of multicolored gear hulks. So this could be a number of things. I know they showed off a green-white one, so that tells me that they're probably going with the allied colors here. So we should probably see a blue-white one. I'm guessing that like taps down creatures or makes you gain life, something like that. Maybe counter a spell. A blue-black one, maybe some graveyard recursion or bouncing or removal. Black-red, I feel like is usually always sort of like damage, chaos, that sort of thing. So I could see it being like a discard, do damage mechanic or like chaos warp ability maybe. Green-red is usually some sort of acceleration. So I'm thinking either like get lands or do damage. Yeah, it'll be exciting to see what these do. All the first Gear Hulks were totally awesome. I played the red one a lot. I played the blue one a lot. Black one is also pretty good. Excited for those. Numerous mechanics from the worlds visited get cameos. Okay, so checking my little fact sheet here. So there's Avishkar, Murganda, Amonkhet, and I think there's one more. But like I said, I'm speculating that there is some sort of like Ixalan stuff here. Like I'm wondering if they go to more places than just that. There are a lot of mechanics that I like that I've just been waiting for to come back. I don't know why Forecast always pops into my head. I don't even know what set Forecast is from. But can you imagine if we see like horsemanship here for one of the mounts or something funny like that? Anyways, let me know what mechanics you think are going to come back in the comments. I feel like probably energy is going to come back from Avishkar. Amonkhet, I'm thinking we probably get Exerting. And I have a little bit more about that later. A new vehicle artifact token. So, I mean, there's not a ton to speculate on here. It could be like there's two ways they could go with this, like the small token, so maybe you get like a sidecar, like a car token, motorbike token or something like that, or they could go the Megazord route, which I think technically does flip into a token, so maybe it could be some sort of like big combining thing. I think I'm leaning that way. Next, here are some rules text that will be showing up on cards in this set. So the first one is this creature saddles, mounts, and crews vehicles using its toughness rather than its power. So not much to say about this one other than seems pretty cool. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent mills 2 cards. So this is text we've seen before on like Psychic Corrosion. I think it's on Teferi's Tutelage as well. That's target opponent. But yeah, it's not super new, but always good to have more support. Bruvak deck is going to get better because of this. Next is other dinosaurs you control get +1/+1. So this is where I'm like, okay, that's some Ixalan stuff right there. So I'm wondering if we get any of those tribes or any of those mechanics there as well. If that was the case, then could we see like Explore or like Huatli for the Planeswalkers, or am I totally out on that? I don't know. Whenever a player casts a spell they don't own, this gives me flashbacks to Gonti Kenny Inquisitor. So I could see him being here, especially since he is originally from Avishkar. And then they mentioned later on about some Aetherborn creatures coming back. So I feel like he might be back, or it could be another Aetherborn. Okay, this next one is nuts. It says tap to add red for each goblin you control. So we all know goblins come in droves, so this is going to be probably pretty popular in almost every goblin deck, I would imagine, of which there are many. I mean, if the mana cost is right. When people are getting into Magic, I think it's probably one of the best ways to get into the game is goblins, so always good to see more support for that. During turns other than yours, this vehicle is an artifact. This one is cool because then you can still block with it, so my guess is for this one is maybe it'll also have vigilance, so then you could like attack with it, and then it could also be a blocker. I think that would be pretty cool. Whenever you activate an exhaust ability, draw a card. So we don't know what exhaust is, but this is what got me thinking about the exert mechanic in Amonkhet. The mechanic where basically you exert a creature and then it takes like 2 turns to fully untap. I think that would be pretty fitting here, especially when you combine it with this theme of cars and such. Makes sense to have things that can kind of go into overdrive like for a turn and then be on cooldown for a little bit. Next is put any number of permanent cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Well, this is obviously very strong rules text. As to how we actually activate this remains to be seen, so I'm very excited about this, but can't really speculate too much on it until we see what the conditions are. Whenever you attack, if a pirate and a vehicle attack this combat. See, there you go. So we've got pirates, we've got dinosaurs. Like, I'm kind of leaning that way. I don't know. Could we see a desparked Watley? Have we already seen that? Turns out, yes, we have. So what do I know? Creatures you control have base power and toughness 6/6 and are oozes in addition to their other types. I love oozes, man. I think as a tribe, they have a very distinct identity. And if you pair this text with a bunch of tokens, this could be really destructive. I used to have this old tabletop deck that was built around making a bunch of squirrel tokens and then playing Essence of the Wild. And it was a pretty neat little trick. Turn them all into 6/6s. And my Graz commander deck works in a very similar way. So I'm excited about this one. Then he says, here are some creature type lines from this set. So Seal Pirate, that sounds just adorable, but who knows, maybe they take it a totally different direction. They make them all like old and grizzled and battered. Grizzled and battered. Now it sounds like eating seal. We're not going to get into that. Lizard Berserker, this one seems like not too out of the ordinary. Insect Archer sounds very Amonkhet. You know, they had the Scarab, they had the Archers, so that makes sense. Core Pilots, so pilots coming back with the whole Crew 2 thing. Paired with the vehicles, makes a ton of sense. Robot Turtle. Okay, this one might be my favorite on the list. I have no idea what this is gonna look like, but I'm sure it will be awesome. We have been getting a few more turtles lately, like with Tycho and Kappa Cannoneer, so glad to see the turtle love. Ape Druid. Not much to say here, but it does take me back to Simian Spirit Guide, which I remember was a big combo piece back in the day. I'm not sure how much that's getting played. It was one of those like turn 0 win cards. Zombie Cat Knight. How is that not gonna be adorable? Okay, Videlkin Ranger. So Videlkins are back with Avishkar. That makes sense. I'm pretty sure Dovin died, so I don't think he'll be back. Dinosaur Dragon Mount. Okay, this is cool. This one was the reason I thought that maybe Sarkon could be in this set, but I don't know lore-wise how much he tends to like leave Tarkir, but he is one of my favorites, so I hope to see him at least this year. I feel like you can't do a Tarkir set without him. I'm sure we'll see him this year anyways. Legendary Creature Aetherborn Rogue. So once again, more evidence of Gonti returning, but it could be a different Aetherborn. I think they're pretty badass and they would probably have cool vehicles too, so I'm down to see them here. And lastly, just some names from the set. So we've got Adrenaline Jockey, Flood the Engine, which sounds like something that makes opponents' vehicles not work, which would be cool. Maybe tap some down, stun counters or something. Gas Guzzler. I imagine this one as having to do with the energy or like taking people's energy or something. That would be cool. Maximum Overdrive. I mean, that's just cool. I hope they fit in like a reference to the movie on this card somehow. You won't be able to catch me, crabs, once I switch into Maximum Overdrive. Pedal to the Metal. This is probably some sort of like double entendre about like kicking a robot or something dumb like that. We do have robot turtles here. Road Rage. Yep, that'll happen. Roadside Assistance. Damn, they got AMA in this set. The Speed Demon, obviously just gonna be a literal demon. I mean, how could they resist? Spin Out. Spin Out sounds like a removal spell to me. Destroy like a vehicle or artifact or something. Siphon Fuel. I was thinking about this one, and it would be cool if you could like tap down opponent's creatures to crew one of your own vehicles as an instant or something. Once again, I just keep thinking about all these different ways that you could crew your own vehicles, and I feel like that's probably gonna come in this set. But that is the last of our spoilers here. You know, it's always fun to go through Mark's spoilers. Just get yourself excited about this set. So let me know what you guys think is coming down in the comments down below. If you like this kind of video, please give it a like, share with people. I should have some new videos coming out for Aetherdrift, so you don't want to miss those. And the Aetherdrift debut is at 9 a.m. on Tuesday on Twitch on January 21st, my birthday, by the way. So yeah, get excited for that. And this has been Commander in General. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.